I recently made a video on the many ways bad actors profit off of fake clothing or reps, and since then a lot has gone down in the counterfeit clothing industry. A prominent shipping agent called pandabuy was hacked and 1.3 million customers' data was breached. Then the Chinese police raided warehouses and seized over 570,000 reps. And now the r/fashion rep subreddit has been taken down that had 1.7 million members. Is this the end of replica clothing? Let's find out.
Man, as soon as we thought it couldn't get any worse for pandabuy, boom, pandabuy gets a Rico.
If you guys don't already know, pandabuy has recently been raided within the last week.
Obviously the warehouse has been raided, so pretty much your items are gone. I recommend switching to another agent ASAP. This is not looking good.
If you know nothing about fake clothing, go check out my video, but if you know what a shipping agent is, you're probably fine. My name's Connor, and my only qualification is being chronically online, but I do hate scammers, and if you do too, you should probably subscribe. Anyways, here's my thoughts on the recent hit to the world of replica clothing. So the biggest news in the counterfeit clothing industry is this pandabuy raid. I read somewhere that 570,000 reps were seized, and The Guardian is saying it was actually millions. There's no way to determine the actual amount of packages that were taken. Either way, this is the largest action against a Chinese shipping agent to date. But this was sensationalized by content creators and news outlets because in recent years, replica clothing and shipping agents like pandabuy, a once elusive industry, have become mainstream due to all the content created around reps. When we're talking about 500,000 to millions of parcels seized, it sounds like the end of replica clothing, but to put those numbers into perspective, the global fashion industry produces 100 to 150 billion pieces of clothing annually. Yes, billion with a B. Not all of those are replicas, obviously, but even if 1% of that is fake, that's 1 billion fakes being produced a year. And another stat to put the sheer size of clothing manufacturing into perspective is that Nike's recent release of the Jordan 4 Military Blue was rumored to have over 1 million pairs produced. So in the grand scheme of the $3 trillion a year counterfeit clothing industry, this raid was a drop in the bucket. Although this could be the beginning of a crackdown on replica clothing, this could also just be a PR move by China to show that they're serious about stopping counterfeits. Because all governments, not just China, are making money off much darker industries than this. And China has very relaxed laws on copyright. I'm sure you've seen their fake Apple stores. So I don't think they actually care about replica clothing, and they definitely don't want the money to stop rolling in. I'm sure they do, however, want content creation around the subject to end because it's a bad look for the country. This is all speculation, but I believe this is the actual reason the raid occurred. The amount of content being produced about pandabuy and replicas coming out of China was getting out of hand, and this raid gives off the illusion that China is doing something to put a stop to counterfeits. I find it interesting that TikTok, a Chinese-owned company, has made pandabuy, replica clothing, and other related search terms a violation on their platform, as in you can't search these words anymore. Instagram hasn't done that. Again, I don't think the motivation is to kill off the counterfeit industry. I think it's to improve optics. That being said, the r/fashion rep subreddit was taken down as well. It wasn't deleted, it was privated. This, however, was done by the community to avoid potential bans according to their mods. And probably also to protect manufacturers' information because there were spreadsheets with hundreds of thousands of listings to replica clothing in there. The subreddit put out a message that said this isn't the end of the road, just a bump in it, and I couldn't agree more. I don't think replica clothing is going anywhere, and I think this will all blow over very soon. Pandabuy has been the main target of this recent investigation on the counterfeit industry because it quickly became the most well-known shipping agent due to social media, but there's countless others. This pandabuy/replica clothing Instagram that was promoting their invite code quickly pivoted to a new shipping agent, Hubai, when pandabuy went under fire. They put up a whole new spreadsheet dedicated to Hubai and a new invite code a couple days after the pandabuy raid. And people on Reddit aren't missing a beat either. They're obviously very upset about pandabuy and worried about what's going to happen with their hauls, but they're quickly discussing new shipping agents to use because people that fuck with reps. This isn't going to stop them. especially individuals that are buying them to scam others, selling reps as real. If they lost their package due to this raid, that's just a business expense. Now, the majority of the r/fashion reps subreddit is not scammers. They're just people that like designer and streetwear clothing and don't want to spend the massive coin that these products typically cost. So I kind of feel for these individuals if pandabuy doesn't refund them, because they're not scamming people. Although they are fake flexing on the world, is that morally wrong? Did these people get what was coming to them? I don't know. Let me know your thoughts down in the comments. Pandabuy did say it's going to refund customers, but only time will tell if that's going to happen, and a lot of people are just doing chargebacks on their orders that got seized, which is the smartest move in my opinion, because Pandabuy has a lot bigger things to worry about right now than refunding customers. Like 30 people being detained and the fact that they're under ongoing investigation. Pandabuy has had a really bad month. On April 1st, they were hacked and 1.3 million customers' data was breached. But I think this is the least of their worries. All they did was notify customers and offer a 10% shipping discount as a consolation to customers that contacted them. Data breaches are unfortunately all too common nowadays. Huge companies like LinkedIn, Facebook, Yahoo, T-Mobile, and so many others have suffered data breaches in the past by hackers. And while the T-Mobile data breach in 2022, for example, cost them $350 million in customer payouts, Pandabuy isn't paying anyone out. All they had to do was apologize to customers because people buying reps aren't going to start a class action lawsuit against them. Now, I know I've sounded like I'm downplaying the impact this has had on the counterfeit clothing industry and replica community. This is definitely a big deal and a step in the right direction to discourage people from purchasing counterfeits. Actions like Discord taking down the Pandabuy server and putting violations on members' accounts, I'm sure scared off people that are new to the world of replicas. Just the news of the Pandabuy warehouse raid, I'm sure had people thinking twice about ordering reps again or for the first time. It's kind of insane how commonplace reps have become. When I was making my last video on replicas, I was blown away by the sheer number of people purchasing them and posting about it on social media. It was a lot of younger people too, like literal teenagers. Not 17-year-olds, but like 13-year-olds. And I think all the content about Pandabuy and the openness about how to purchase reps had people forgetting that the sale of fake clothing is illegal. And I've heard people say the purchase of it isn't, but it is, especially when you're shipping it internationally. But like I said in my last video, I think this industry is too large to be stopped. Although these recent developments may cause people to be more careful, I think a lot of people still just don't give a shit because the number of people manufacturing, selling, and buying replicas is so large that you can't punish them all. Now, this raid may have been more than the occasional small seizure of counterfeit clothing, and there were and will be more real-world consequences for Pandabuy and other shipping agents, but in the grand scheme of things, if you're just a consumer of replica clothing, this isn't that big of a deal. So in conclusion, I do not think this is the end of replica clothing. Anyways, thanks for watching. It's been Connor. Subscribe if you want to see more content like this. Drop a like if you aren't a scammer, and stay safe on Reddit out there. Peace.